What's up, everyone? Today we're going to learn a song called Holy Forever by Tomlin based on his version in the key of D flat. The key of D flat has 5 flats, which are those keys right there. Let's just jump into it. This basically has like 4 sections. We have the intro, we have the verse, we have the pre-chorus, and we have the chorus. So I'll break down each section as we go. So starts with this lead line. And then it goes into verse. So let's break down that lead line at first. So we're gonna do a little walk up. So that's D flat, E flat, F, D flat, B flat. So when we hit the last B flat note, we're gonna actually hit the G flat chord. And then it pivots to a B flat minor, and then an A flat suspended. And then we're gonna do, so that one is C, D flat, E flat, C, and then we're landing on a D flat over F, and then the melody keeps going. So that one's E flat, C, and then a B flat minor chord, A flat suspended chord, and then we're into our verse. Real quick before we get to the rest of the video, I just want to let you know that I have actually partnered with a company called Fountain, FownTN, which is a Christian content streaming service. So what I'm going to do moving forward is when I make a video, I'm going to post it there first, and then a week later, I'm going to post it on YouTube. All right, let's get back into the video. You could also do this with just one note in the right hand instead of the octave. I think the octave helps it to stand out a little bit more, but if you didn't want to do the octave, you could do... and then we're into the verse. So D flat, G flat, add 2 to D flat, B flat minor 7, A flat suspended, G flat, add 2. Same thing. Okay, so let's break that down. It's a D flat chord to the 4 chord, which is G flat. I strongly recommend you learn the number system, where that gives every note in the scale a number and then the chord associated with that number, and it just makes things a little bit easier. But I'll do the letters for right now. So D flat, G flat with the add 2, and the add 2 is one of the things where you can kind of do it without the third, but you could also do the third, or you could do all 4 notes together. Or you can kind of bounce back and forth. I like to do that. And that gives you just an extra element to play around with instead of just feeling like you have to play just the notes the way it's written. The add 2 is a very flexible chord you can bounce back and forth between. And then we're gonna go to the B flat minor 7, which a cool little trick is it looks like a D flat in the left hand, and if you put a B flat and an F in the right hand, it turns it into a B flat minor 7. A flat suspended, G flat add 2 again. And then it's just kind of the same thing, or repeats. You could do a different version if you'd like on the second time around. Then we're into the pre-chorus starting on a G flat. To the chorus, but let's break down that pre-chorus. Starts on the G flat, quickly to the B flat minor 7. I'm doing this inversion right here to the A flat chord, and you can always pause and break down the notes based on what I'm holding down, and that way you can get the exact voicing that I'm playing. To the B flat minor 7, back to the G flat, add 2. Same thing this time. doing a little walk up into that B flat minor, which is B flat, C, and then a D flat is kind of like my octave, but it's a B flat minor 7. Stands above it all. And this last one ends on an E flat minor 7. If you were to do this voicing, it would be E flat minor 7. If you wanted to add the A flat, it would turn it into an E minor 11. That's also pretty cool voicing for this chord. But then it leads right into the chorus. So it goes. Okay, so this chorus is such a beautiful melody. It's becoming one of my favorite worship songs, just having heard it a few times. But basically, it leads with this melody, which is why I can't get away from it on the piano. I suppose you can play it without the melody, but it just might not sound as good. Let's try it without the melody and just see the difference. All the angels cry. I even kind of threw a couple melody notes in there, but the melody just makes the song sing so much. So the melody, once again, is very much similar to the intro, right? G flat, B flat minor, 7 to an A flat, D flat over F, B flat minor 7. This one's a little different. E flat minor 7 to the A flat. The last few melody notes are E flat, F, G flat, right before the D flat. And then it immediately goes to those D flat suspended chords. So, holy forever. Then it suspends and then back to the original. Now, you might notice I'm doing a lot of different inversions and such, which help to add to the song. So you can play a D flat chord like this, you can play it like this, you can play it like this. You can also add an octave on to each of the inversions, and it just makes for a bigger sound, right? So you can do this with each of your chords. With the A flat, you can do a 4-note version, right? Even without adding a 7 or adding any other fancy notes, we're just adding an extra octave, right? So these bigger chords help it to sound bigger. And then in my left hand, you can do, instead of just a single bass note or even a single bass note plus a fifth, you could do single bass note, fifth and the octave, or the 9 or the 10, which is just the add 2 an octave up, or the third an octave up. That's a whole major A flat major chord. If you just roll it, you can kind of get there. Even if you don't have big enough hands, you can roll it one by one. Another one you could do is something like this, right? And that just adds something. So check this out. If you add the rolling 10 into the chords of the chorus, it'll sound something like this. Those just add a little extra texture, extra substance, instead of just playing the roots or the octaves or the root, the fifth octave. Those rolling chords in the left hand just make it so much better, right? So you'll notice in a lot of contemporary Christian songs, CCM, we like to call it, contemporary Christian music, we're staying within the scale. So this is another reason to just know your scales really well. And if you know your scales really well, you can have an idea of where things are going, and at least you know what notes not to hit. You don't hit the notes that are outside of the scale. So CCM tends to stay within the scale quite a bit. Other styles of music will venture outside of the major scale, but CCM tends, like a song like this, you're not going to really play any notes outside of the scale. So learn your scales really well, and then you can take this to any key. And like, let's say you wanted to do a key change. So all of a sudden we're in the key of D, right? So learning the number system and learning all your scales will really help with the transposition techniques. If these are some things you're interested in and getting your skills to the next level, I actually offer a Church Piano 101 course that dives deep into some of these topics. It starts with the basics at the beginning, but by the time the 10 lessons are done, we're quite advanced actually. The goal is to get you from not playing at all to playing in church in just 10 lessons. Now, it's going to require a lot of work on your part, but the course is linked below if that's something you're interested in. Why don't you check that out? That would be awesome. Also, drop a comment below with some of your favorite worship songs right now, because I'm looking to do some new tutorials and I'm open to some suggestions. So go ahead and let me know what your favorite new worship song is. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.